And namaste to you, brothers and sisters. Welcome to tonight's airing of the Lall Show. Of course, you know we come here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 19 hours 20, and a program that have built its name and momentum for over a year and counting. Joining me tonight is Miss Harris, whom all of you know, as she has been with us in the program many times over. So I would like to welcome Miss Harris, who will make the presentation this evening on behalf of Mr. Lall. And as we on that topic, he's still away resting, and as such, Miss Harris and I will be presenting to you as a team, of course, with Bernard with us here as well this evening. I now hand you over to Miss Harris, who will take us through tonight's proceeding. And of course, the drill is normal. After our presentation, once time permits us, we'll take your phone calls. Miss Harris, as customary, namaste to you, and the floor is yours.
Namaste. Good evening, everyone. So as Joshua's explained, Mr. Lall is clearly not here because I am. And he's asked me to do a good job of it. So I will try my utmost to do the job that Mr. Lall does. So yesterday, Mr. Lall sent us 2 video clips, and he wanted us to share them with you. We ask you to listen to them very carefully and keenly, and then we'd like you to share your views with us and let us know what you think the message is. The first video clip is a speech given by Dr. Arikana Chihombori. She's an African, a medical doctor, an activist, a diplomat, and an educator as well. She's spoken about France's role in keeping Africa poor and the structures that it's put in place in order to keep a hold over the former French colonies. Listen to what Dr. Chihombori is saying very carefully and see if this is not exactly what is happening here in Guyana. Like Africa, Guyana's rich and abundant resources have been shipped out by the boatloads and plane loads by foreigners from all over the world. We have the British, the French, the Americans, the Canadians, the Chinese, the Australians, the Russians, and the list goes on and on. But what is there for Guyanese, who are the rightful owners of this wealth? What is there for the true beneficiaries of this massive wealth? Josh?
Yes.
Could you please post the link of the video in the comment section on the Facebook and YouTube stream?
Yes.
At this time, we're going to ask the viewers to just click on the link, have a look at the video, and then come right back to us. We'll be here waiting for you.
All right. Remember, the link is posted on the comment section on your Facebook, whatever Facebook page you're joining us from. And of course, those of you joining us on YouTube as well, it's at the site of the comment section.
Our people must know the truth and nothing but the truth. France remains
some of you might have struggled to understand her accent, so I'll give you a little bit of what she was saying. She said France is one of the biggest security threats to Africa today. She said the French made their former colonies sign a pact, an agreement, for the continuation of their colonization. So while they would now be free and independent nations, it would come at a price. France said, yes, you will be free, but you must continue to pay us for your freedom. The doctor said they take your money and resources. They make more money with it, and then they loan it back to you with interest, always with interest.
Yeah.
She said the former colonies' military can only be trained by France, and that they can invade your country without notice at any time if they feel that their financial interests in your country are being violated. She went on to say that there have been 67 coups in 26 countries in Africa, and of that 26, 16 countries were former French colonies. 22 African leaders were assassinated during those coups, and France was behind every single thing because they felt that their former colonies' actions were threatening French interests. The doctor asks a question. When you have given up your financial resources, control of your natural resources, and your military, what power do you have? She said that France is taking out over $500 billion from Africa every single year. France would then invest that money and make trillions of dollars from it. Are you beginning to notice the similarities between what's going on in Africa?
Yep.
A continent with 54 nations and 1.3 billion people, and what's going on right here in Guyana, a country with less than 1 million people and many abundant resources. Dr. Chihombori went on to ask, why has it been so difficult for Africans to say enough is enough? How long will we allow this carnage to happen and say nothing? Until we understand that we're suffering from the legacy of colonization and slavery, the shackles of the mind will continue. Until we realize that we are a wounded people and we need healing, you must first accept that you are sick. The doctor went on to ask, are the children of Africa ready to stay back and take what is rightfully theirs? Is the reason we are so disrespected because we are poor? She said that economic liberation, economic freedom has been denied, that Africa has not been allowed to develop properly. She asks if African wealth belongs to the African children. Why should non-Africans drive the African development agenda? That happens nowhere else in the world. In other words, why should outside actors be in charge of steering Africa's development? Dr. Chihombori went on to question what exactly do they discuss every year at the UN meetings when Africa continues to be robbed and raped by outside actors. Guyanese, is this not exactly what's been happening here in Guyana? We have to understand that the resources that we have firstly benefit the Guyanese, not the politicians, not the foreign companies, but Guyanese first and foremost. We also have to understand that a nation's liberation will not be given by its captors, but it must be taken by its people. I believe that is the key message from Dr. Chihombori's speech. And if we as Guyanese do not take our rightful seats at the table, at the head of the table in fact, our development will not only continue to be written by our captors, but generations to come will continue to live in economic slavery and mental slavery. The robbing, raping, and looting of Guyana's resources has been going on for too long, and with little to no benefits to the ordinary Guyanese people, many of whom have decided that they nor their families will put up with the corruption and the greed which has taken over the nation. They've simply chosen to leave, and many have never come back. nor do they even want to come back. So surely we have to ask if we do not ever understand that what has been done and why it's so important that we as Guyanese stand up collectively and take our rightful seat at the head of the table while the pie is being carved up. We have to settle for the crumbs falling from the table. This is the way the Guyanese have been living while these countries and companies rob, rape, and steal our resources, invest and make trillions of dollars before having the audacity to loan the same money back to us with interest. Always with interest.
Yeah.
I have another clip for you to listen to. This is from Dr. Israel Nonyerem Davidson, who talks about how much money countries like France and England make from Africa. Josh is going to put the second clip into the comment section again for our Facebook and YouTube viewers. Dr. Davidson is a chartered accountant and an academic, and he's been looking at just how much money France and these other nations take from Africa.
So there, please feel free to click your comments. It's pinned on the top of the comment section as well.
Into that Africa. But is that really true? Now, here are the facts. Africa has a total area space larger than all of Europe, China, and the United States of America combined. It
Yes, so we hope that you would have had the opportunity to listen to that piece of information. It's very educational at the same time.
Indeed, welcome back. So the doctor said that Jacques Chirac, the former French president, said this: "We bled Africa for 4.5 centuries. We looted their raw materials, and then we told lies that the Africans are good for nothing. In the name of religion, we destroyed their culture. And after being made rich at their expense, we now steal their brains through miseducation and propaganda to prevent them from enacting black retribution against us." Remember those words. The doctor said that the 2016 study by War on Want showed that 101 companies control over $305 billion worth of platinum, mostly British companies. They control $267 billion worth of oil, $216 billion worth of coal, and they own mines and licenses in 37 countries in Africa, the vast majority. The studies show more money leaves Africa than enters Africa, and that despite receiving billions in aid, debt is what is killing Africa. The doctor said that they have borrowed between 25 to 75% of their GDPs, many countries, with nothing to show for it. He said slavery has destroyed us. Religion has divided us. Ignorance controls us, and the truth scares us. But to overcome this, we must renew our minds. So you might be wondering why we've taken this time to speak about Africa and what this has to do with Guyana. Can you imagine how much money leaves Guyana by the hand of these foreign companies? And how much money they actually make from Guyana, and how little of it actually gets into the hands of local Guyanese? If you haven't seen that already, you're certainly due to see it in the future. It's the same story all over the continent of Africa and in little corrupt countries like Guyana. History has already warned us of what will befall our nation, our children, and our families if we do not stand together and take control of our country. That is the key message that we want to leave with you tonight, and for you to continue to bear in mind as we do these programs. So if anybody has any questions, if anybody has any contributions, we'll open the floor, we'll take a few questions, and we'll try our best to answer them for you.
That's no problem. If you just joined us, you're listening to us on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM and via our social media streaming platform. This evening, we will open our telephone lines now. Before we do such, we'd like to thank Ms. Harris for our presentation. And of course, we also have Bernard here in studio with us, who will make a few contributions before we take some telephone calls this evening. So Bernard, over to you.
Good evening, my fellow Guyanese brothers and sisters.
Good evening.
We, the Guyanese people, have won the biggest lottery in the world. We have a population of less than 1 million people, and with our oil alone, we should be better than Dubai. Are we going to allow foreigners to join with unpatriotic Guyanese to rob us and our children and grandchildren of the bright future? I beg of you, my fellow citizens, please put aside your perceived differences and join your Guyanese brothers and sisters, because the only way we can get a better future for our country is to fight together as one Guyanese people. And we have, at certain times of the year, we show a love for our fellow citizens, but once in a while we get stupid at election time only. We have to put aside that, you know.
That is so true.
It's
right?
true.
We live together as one true. We celebrate our holidays together. We go to weddings.
We eat together.
We
drink
celebrate each
together.
other food. We drink. We celebrate at weddings. I'm sure we have friends of all colors, of all races, whatever. We have to put aside our differences, whatever perceived differences, and we get together to fight. This is a Guyanese fight. It's a Guyanese versus the foreigners, because the wealth belongs to us. Like Ms. Harris said, when the Africans own the wealth and the foreigners, the Europeans, come and take it away. You know, as a Guyanese, if we go with the oil company to the United States and China, we have to pay 67% to the US or in China 74%. So how is it two American oil companies and a Chinese company comes in Guyana and gives us 11%? Why do we accept such mistreatment, man? Like the African man said, you know, we have low self-esteem. We have to learn to fight for each other and protect our unborn children, our children as well. They can't fight, so we have to fight for them. So I beg of you, please fight for your future, your children's future.
Yeah,
Indeed, the fight
absolutely.
must continue as we, want betterment. And I'm happy that you would have mentioned that, Bernard. This evening, what we'll do right now, we'll open our telephone lines. If you have any question you might want to ask this evening, providing that we can answer you, we'll definitely do that. Or if you would like to contribute to anything that Ms. Harris or the presenters would have said to us this evening, you can do so in 226-7453 and 226-7454. You can also WhatsApp us or WhatsApp call us on 622-2222. You can do that, 622-2222. Those are the numbers that you can call us on this evening. I think while we're waiting, we have a caller? Okay. Caller, good evening and welcome.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hi, good night.
Hello.
Good night to you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good night.
As y'all continue the fight, every day I be on the road by big market selling, and nothing in Guyana there, but people don't understand. They left sit down by the stand and nobody in buying because they don't understand what Guyana. I tell them they got locked down the stand and we got head to the road. We got to do it. All them store in region 330, they just stand up, so you see nobody in the store and them there, so what sense it make we done doing it? We got to hit the road, brother. Don't really wait long. I want some of them get more wise every day they buy big market there. Nothing in Guyana unless somebody pass from the medial sea garden, any one of them. Yeah? Nothing going on nowadays, but people don't understand.
That's true.
That's true.
Yes.
Nothing. Then they don't understand the way you're talking to some of them, some understand and some don't understand. But this thing we carry the road all your clock. Because we done there, it's nothing in Guyana nowhere. And we struggling, so let it fight continue all the time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes. Thanks.
I think the gentleman is quite right. A lot of
Yes.
people, because it's such a technical sector, a lot of people are still trying to wrap their heads around the ins and outs, the technicalities, the language. They don't really understand what goes into oil and gas production, exploration. So I think people are still struggling to digest the information. It's so much, so many things are happening constantly. I mean, every day there's a headline with oil. Like, I think it was yesterday, CGX announced they found more oil too.
Yes.
Yeah, how much of that oil is going to be for us?
Indeed. We have
How many barrels
We
will
have
we
another
get?
call on the line. Good evening to you and welcome to Kaieteur Radio.
Good night, welcome.
Thank you.
Good evening.
All is welcome in my home. All of you there, Mr. Glenn Lall. I thank all of you for educating me and my family and the people of this country. You're doing a great job,
Thank you. Thank you.
beautiful job for the education you give us. It costs us some money to get on the net because this is still in the interior region that we're calling from.
Thank you. Thank you for
I'm
listening.
listening to you.
Thank you, and of course, we're happy that we're having support so far. Thank you so much.
Exactly.
I listened to the program with the doctor from Africa. She was good, but what I understand is that civil disobedience is a great way forward.
Well, while we can't encourage civil disobedience, we can definitely encourage people to picket and to protest.
Yes.
You can take your photos with you wearing our t-shirts. You can always pop into Kaieteur News, collect them, and you can stand up with us with placards and join the protest. I understand where you're coming from because that's what the societies that usually produce oil, especially where ExxonMobil operates, that's what tends to happen. The society tends to crumble so much that security and safety become things of the past. Civil wars break out. You have military presence in many countries, just trying to keep people safe. But we're hoping that the job that we're doing is going to keep people educated and informed, and it will lead to people hitting the streets so that we can get things like policy, we can get the contract renegotiated, and we can actually achieve things. You know, violence doesn't achieve much, and we would never encourage that, but we do want to encourage everyone to continue to support the protest.
Doctor were talking about. The doctor was saying, what she was saying is actually, might is right.
Yeah.
And France used military, reserve military power to invade anywhere they wanted to.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
So is it in the world today with the superpower? Economically, we are being invaded.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
We've been neocolonialized.
Conspiring with the foreigners to form a trade robbery.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Yes. And you know what? One thing that happened this week that you'll find very interesting, we had someone, he's like a Guyanese expat. He's Guyanese, but he lived in Holland. And he came back to work for the oil and gas sector, and he was working at the shore base at Houston. And he was saying that the same kind of issues that he encountered in Europe, this kind of xenophobia, they don't like foreigners, they treat ethnic minorities, you know, black people, Asians, they treat us as the other. And there's often a glass ceiling above our heads so that we're never able to progress, we're never able to, you know, reach the pinnacle of whatever career path we choose. Mm-hmm. And he said that it's a cultural thing and it's a strategic thing, that they actually, these companies like Exxon, when they come to countries like Guyana, they look to create the same exact structures that they use overseas to create this feeling of inferiority by the local people who feel as though they're not good enough. And then they, you know, they use that to frustrate the contracts that they actually have to employ local people so that they can get their foreigners, their people of choice to actually take those jobs. Mm-hmm. So it's really a matter of mental neocolonialism, a new mental taking over of our country, of our culture, the way that we do business, the way that we work. It's a lot of different things, and to actually hear it firsthand from people who've experienced it, it tells a really, really different story.
It does indeed.
But what I don't understand, and what the doctor didn't say, that ethnicity must have superiority, must have ability to claim superiority in the world. There is no level playing field, that is out. But you must have the ability to claim superiority. Mm-hmm. Otherwise than that, you're inferiority. Mm-hmm. You're inferior. You're poor. You're in the top class. And that is what is happening, and there is no level playing field for that. Mm-hmm. Those people have the might.
Yep.
That is what I'm saying. Look at Guyana. The doctor, she speaks about Africa. She was quite right. But look at our country. Since independence made to this country developed a clear drain where the politicians, including Dr. Jagan and Mr. Burnham, is telling the people it's a brain drain. It's not a brain drain. Those two university graduates, Dr. Cherry Jagan and Burnham, those two graduates got this country just as it is today, and the people divide and poor. And so it's a culture at the universities. Mm-hmm. Get this document, and then you go and do trade robbery, and you free. No one to lock you up. No one to stand. You stand no trial. You become they give you a name in this country, a monster. When you're rich, you're so ugly with this illegal money. And that man is a monster boy. Mm-hmm. So the doctor was right, but our situation is a different situation. We have a racial polarization also, if you look.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? That in of itself, the use of ethnicity and race, that is another strategy that's been created and used to continue to divide people for centuries now. You know, when the old colonizers first went to Africa, they found kingdoms of people thriving with constitutions and everything, structures far exceeding the Europeans who were visiting. And, you know, they did their thing. They used these strategies to break the people, to take their wealth and resources. And as admitted by themselves, then they come back and they tell lies about the Africans and saying that they're no good, they're useless, whatever the case might be. But these are strategies that these people, these countries, these companies continue to use.
What you are saying there, that took place in India. And that was with Gandhi and Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Gandhi was Hindu, Muhammad Ali Jinnah was Muslim.
Yeah.
And Muhammad Ali Jinnah, he never stood up to what Gandhi wanted. India must and Pakistan must be one. Muhammad Ali Jinnah said, no, I'm not for that.
Yeah.
Pakistan, where Muslim people must be living.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't know that, you know, that's why there is now India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, not realizing that it used to be, you know, more or less one country. But because of religious differences, you see, even in India, you know, that has a mostly homogenous ethnicity, the same ethnicity, there's still that, you know.
Look at Guyana.
Yeah.
I read Against the Grain with Balram Singh Rai. I have that book. I read that book. And if you look at that book, you would see that Mr. Balram Singh Rai was the real star boy for this country. But he was being pushed aside. And he got to England and he gave it up. He said, no, there will never be peace here.
Well, we hope that we're seeing, or we can show you that if we do not pay attention to history, it will continue to repeat itself. Yeah. So, thank you so much. Thank you so much,
Paula. You repeat.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Someone is reminding us on Facebook that, remember, it's not Exxon to be blamed, it's our government who are calling the shots. Any other caller? Remember, you can also WhatsApp us on 622-2222. You can call us as well on WhatsApp, I do beg your pardon. Providing that if there are no other callers this evening, I don't know if Ms. Harris has anything else to let us know this evening, or Bernard, who's in studio. If so be the case, we might call it tonight here.
Okay. I think we just want to remind people that everything we put to you, we bring to you, is done in an attempt to educate, edify, to enlighten, and to bring you closer to realizing that the things that are happening in Guyana currently are carefully planned out strategic operations, and that if the Guyanese people do not wake up and realize what is being happened, we'll wake up tomorrow and we're just another miserable little country. Yeah. You know? So,
as the saying goes, too late shall be the cry.
Exactly. And let's try to fight today that our children and grandchildren, they don't have to fight tomorrow.
I totally agree with you. Bernard?
Yeah, well, we the Guyanese people, we don't have many natural disasters, we have man-made disasters. So we have to come together as a people, as one people, and realize we are our brothers and sisters keepers. Exactly. If we don't come together as one and fight for what belongs to us, nobody is going to fight for us. And we'll see our little neighbor Suriname gonna go race away and leave us in the dirt, leave us like nothing. Yeah. Because when Suriname gets 62% and we get 11%, I don't think you can do much with that 11%. So Guyanese people, please wake up and fight together for a better future.
Indeed.
With that said, namaste to you, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see you, God's willing, next Friday. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye.